What if everything you thought you knew about introverts was wrong? Not a little wrong, most of it wrong. Because introvert is four completely different types, and the one you actually are might explain things about yourself that have never made sense before, and why you feel drained after fun nights, why you need a week's notice just to say yes to dinner. By the end of this video, you will know all four types. You will find out which one you are, and you will understand why that matters more than you think. Stay to the end. Surprises almost everyone, even people who have called themselves introverts their whole lives. Most people think being an introvert just means being shy, or quiet, or the person who's a fact that might surprise you. Studies say introverts make up between 30 and 50% of the world. That is not a small group. That is nearly half of all people, and they do not all act the same way. People who seem so different from each other. Because introversion is a range. A psychology professor at Wellesley College looked into this and found 4 very different types, each one with its own way of seeing the world and dealing with people. We will go through all 4 today, but there is one. It is the most common type of all, and most people have never heard its name before. Here is where things get really interesting. Type 1 is called the social introvert. And yes, that sounds like it makes no sense. Think about someone you know who lights up every room they walk into, makes everyone laugh. The one who, at a dinner with close friends, seems like the loudest and most fun person there. If you just met them that night, you would never guess they were an introvert. But at 10 p.m., they are gone. They go home. They need the whole next day alone to feel like themselves again. That is a social introvert. So what actually makes them an introvert if they love being around people? It is not about whether they enjoy people. Social introverts can have a great time in social places. The big difference is what happens after. Their energy runs out once. Like a phone that has been running maps, music, and video calls all day with no charger, it just stops. Here is something wild. Research shows that an introvert's brain reacts more strongly to social things than an extrovert's brain, not less. That is why one person up while it drains another. It is not about how much they like people, it is just how the brain works. Remember, we are figuring out which of these 4 types fits you best. This first one, the social introvert, is not about being shy at all. It is about what you need to feel okay again after being. This type is often the most misread, even by themselves. Many social introverts spend years thinking something is wrong with them. They love their friends, they have fun, but the next morning they feel like they ran a race. Sound familiar? But here is where it gets. Type 2 is called the thinking introvert. If type 1 was the social surprise, type 2 is the person who is always there, but never quite reachable. Picture a classroom. Someone sits near the back. They nod along, they make eye contact now and then. But they have not said a word in over half an hour. After class, a friend asks what they thought. They pause for a few seconds. Then they say something that changes the way they were not checked out. They were thinking. Deeper than most people go. That is a thinking introvert. So why is it so hard to get close to a thinking introvert? Because their inner world never really turns off. They spend a lot of time inside their own thoughts. They feel their feelings. They notice things in talks and in people that others miss. But putting all of that into words like eat out loud right now takes a lot out of them. So most of the time, they just do not try. Think of it this way. A thinking introvert's mind is like a browser with 47 tabs open. Closing even one of them feels like losing something. People close to thinking introverts often say the same thing. The moment they finally going on in their head, it is one of the best talks you will ever have. You just have to wait for it. This brings us back to the big question. Which type are you? If this video is helping you think about that, hit the like button and subscribe. It helps more people find this kind of content. Now, type 3 is the one that most, and that mix-up matters a lot. But the real surprise is this next one. Type 3 is the anxious introvert, and this is the type where things can start to feel more heavy. Think about someone who just had a great night. Good friends, good food, easy laugh on the couch, and the replay starts. Did I talk too much? Was that thing I said weird? Why did she go quiet after I told that story? They go to bed still thinking about it, still picking it apart. The night is over. But for them, it is not really over. That is an anxious introvert. It's hard for them to just let it go. Because being around people feels like high stakes to them. Even when nothing went wrong, their brain is always watching, always checking. Did I do okay? Did I say the right thing? Even with people they know and trust, they leave feeling like they need to do a full review of everything that happened. Here's something really important to know. Being an anxious introvert is a part of who. But social anxiety disorder is something different. It is a real health issue that needs real help. How do you tell them apart? If being around people brings on strong body feelings, like shaking, a fast heart, or feeling sick, and you start saying no to things you have to do because of it, that is more than a personality. To talk to someone who can help. An anxious introvert and a social introvert might both leave the same party early, but one of them was dreading it all week. The other was looking forward to it and just ran out of gas. Same move, very different story. Anxious introverts do best in small, quiet settings, one friend at a time. a slow talk over coffee, give them space to think before they speak, and they will show you more than you expected. But here is something most people do not know about. They are often the most thoughtful people in the room. Think about the friend who always remembers what you said 3 weeks ago, who checks in on you after a hard day, who sends a long message instead of a quick one. That is usually an anxious introvert. All that replaying, it also means they pay very close attention to the people they care about. And now, the one I have been saving. The type I said was the most common. The one most people who call themselves introverts really are, but have Type 4 is the restrained introvert. Meet Sarah. Her coworkers like her a lot. She is calm, steady, easy to be around. One Thursday, a friend leans over and says, "Hey, we are all going out tonight. You coming?" Sarah smiles and says she is busy. She just heard about it 4 hours ago, and 4 hours is not enough time. Give her a week's notice. She will be there. She will be great company. But that last-minute ask, that is genuinely hard for her. Not because she is shy, not because she is nervous. She just needs time to get ready on the inside. Why does getting a heads up matter so much to restrained introverts? Because they move through life in a slow and careful way. They like to know what is coming so they can get their mind and their energy ready. When something comes out of nowhere, they shut down. But when they have time to prepare, they show up fully, and they give a lot. Here is something that might change how you see restrained introverts. They also tend to move slowly in the morning, and it is not because they are lazy. Some research shows that certain people genuinely need more time waking up. It is a real thing. Once they are up and going, though, they are all the way there. This is the last of the 4 types, and here is the truth about restrained introverts. They are not broken. They are not hard to deal with. In a world that moves fast and expects everyone to say yes right now, their need for time and routine can look like a problem. But it is not. It is just Friday night, staying in, a show they saved all week. Lights low, phone down. Not because they are boring, but because that is when they finally feel like themselves. So let's bring this all together. 4 types. 4 very different ways of moving through the world. All given the same introvert, you now have a way to say why you need to go home early, even when you had a great time. If you are a thinking introvert, you know why people have always had a hard time getting inside your head, and why that is not a bad thing. If the anxious type felt close to home, pay attention to that line between your personality and something that might need real support. And if you are a restrained introvert, you can stop. That is not a flaw. That is just how you are built. Remember at the start, I said the most common type had a name most people had never heard. Now you have heard it. Restrained. And if you shared this video, there is a good chance they would see themselves in one of these 4 types too. Thanks for watching, and until next time.